Jay from Team DMA. Welcome back to the channel. So on this video, I wanted to recap quickly, just a quick overview of my budget decks, and you already know that the history about my Dark Mission deck that I created in 2019 when I came back to Yu-Gi-Oh! And everybody was laughing. Till today, people still laugh at the Dark Mission, but the people that know how to play it show what it can do. Everybody else just cries and complains, no results. So, like I said before, this is just a pointer for people who, believe it or not, everyone's giving up on Dark Mission already. You might not want to believe it, but I'm telling you the truth. People are just changing their decks to something else. Either if you left and you want to come back, or you're thinking of leaving the Dark Mission deck, I just want to show you some hope and some moves that you might want to put into practice for yourself. So, first of all, a lot of people believe that what's popular is the best, and that's a lie. It's a figment of people's imaginations and a fake a fake perspective in the reality. To be honest with you, the majority of the people are not making smart decisions, and that would explain why the world is so effed up. And even looking at regionals and nationals, you can see the profiles. It's self-evident that it's the minority. Maybe out of 1,000, like three people or even one. It's like a small minority, like a 1% of the people. They're the ones that are smart. The people that are smart are not popular, and they don't do what's popular either. Once you get those two combinations, you get out of the box. You're no longer a follower, you're no longer a puppet, you're no longer a robot. And because of that, you have open ideas, open solutions, and you can escape the matrix, essentially. And in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a big deal because since you don't have to follow popular um, belief, popular profiles, you're not going to be having the same issues they are because you're outside of the matrix. Because of that, you're going to be operating like Neo, where he can go into the real world and the matrix. It's basically, essentially, you're hovering above the whole situation. So, to begin, like I said before, never wait until you go to locals or regionals to test your deck and find out it sucks and you wasted your time, because more than 90, 95, I would say 95 or 98, like almost everyone, what they do is they take their decks and then they put on YouTube and they show you the deck sucked. I performed badly. It was no good. And that's already an indicator of the people are not knowing how to play Yu-Gi-Oh. And on top of that, the deck is not the problem. It's the pilot issue. That you need to change the one who's dueling, using the deck, not the deck. The deck's fine. So what they love to do is blame it on the deck, and they'll blame it on their mama and everyone they can blame it on, but they won't blame it on the real issue, which is themselves. They're the problems. So the people who are topping, and I've said this before, this isn't something new, and you never heard it on another channel. No one's ever told you that other than Jay here for years. And the solution is what the top 10 players and regionals and nationals have always done, which is play test at home, play test online, and then you have your results. So when you go into the locals, into the regionals, into the nationals, you do well because you already dueled at the regionals and nationals. You're like, why? Because you put yourself in the situation of what would happen if you were in the regionals and nationals, which is 2 to 3 negates per turn mandatory. Now, once you get into like tier 0 style, like currently the only one is probably like the Unchained that has like 6 negations per turn. Like you draw 6, they negate all 6. Um, in that case, it's a different situation. You would have to be playing going second cards. But what you want to be doing, even for going first, is situational, taking 2 negates per turn, like a mandatory. And I did this challenge like 2 years ago, and people took it. Like 10 people took the challenge, And I think two people did it honestly, and they showed that they failed, that they couldn't win. Um, I am Mural was one of them, and there was somebody else. And I think I saved the video. I told him to do test hand and show what would happen, and he said it himself, "Oh, I would lose the duel," because a lot of people who are honest, and like I said before, I'm not going to lie, Loza is honest. If anything, he shows how the deck can win, and he shows how he's struggling, and so does most of the people in the Dark Machine community. They show the reality, as the other video that you see me post before this. It's just a bunch of crybabies and complainers and losses. They can't win anything. So the solution is you have to apply taking two negations to 3 per turn all the time. So we're gonna go through it right here and see what's happening, and that's how I create my profiles. So I don't wait till it happens. I do it before, so then when I go test it, I do fine. So here's an example. So we're gonna rod, they're gonna go ahead and imperm, then we're gonna go ahead illusion, then they're gonna ash. So this is the mandatory 2, and when I do test hands here in my home, or when I do it on the online testing before I go duel, I do the test hands first. And what I do is I always take an imperm and an ash. And I always take uh, like what's it called? Uh, Dimension shifter, and I also take an Abiru. So what happens there, and I usually try to do the D shifter as well. So what happened, all in the same turn, not later. So when you look at it, you got like 4 or 5 negates. You got like a tier 1, tier 0 style type of deck. So you're gonna be negated 4 to 5 times, so you only have 1 life card. So what I do is I set up the cards to go to 2-3 negates and establish simultaneously at the same time 2 to 3 negates in return. So they give you 3, you give them 3. And that's what people don't know how to play Dark Magician, because Dark Magician is that way of style. So what happens is you took 2. Now here, in reality, all the Dark Magician turbos, and that's almost all the decks. Unless you know any Dark Magician channel that's popular, and they're all popular, they're all famous YouTubers that don't play Dragoon Turbo, I don't know any. Everyone does. So they all fall in the category. They all lose to Ash. They all lose to Ash. And people can say, no, they don't, because they have something to stop that. No, because they also have something to stop your play. So as soon as they stop the ref, or just about anything, even stopping the fusion going into extra deck, it kills almost all the decks. So you lose. And then playing against these like tier 1 style, like Bestial Labyrinth, where they negate, and the Naturia deck, where they negate all your spells, they lose. You've seen first place nationals lose to it too. So what I do is I apply that to the duels as well, which means I can't play the spells either. You're like, what the heck? Yeah, so what you do is you find out variants of how to counteract with your opponent when they do all that. So in this case, we took 2 hits, and we're gonna see what we're able to pull through that. We're gonna go into some draw power. So there we are. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause it, and we're gonna take a look at here. So what we got so far. So this is what we got. We took 2 negates, and we had 6. I'm sorry, we had 5. So that put us at 3 cards, right? So you're pretty much done. But what I did was the deck is already assorted to purposely draw more after the negates. So it's established purposely. All I'm doing is waiting for it to play out, because I already know what to do. Which means nothing's a surprise. It's all old. It's like a repeating cycle. It's boring to me. So after that, you draw, and you set the skill drain. So you have 2 negates, and then a negate for the effects, and a negate for the attack. So it's 4. So you have 4 negates on the board. all we need is we're gonna need an Eternal Soul and what's it called? An Dark Mission in the graveyard to start chaining off. But for now, we can 4 negates is fine. None of the level 6 or higher are gonna be able to activate effects or attack. And then we have the skill drain to stop the level 5 and under from having any effects. So we're gonna be surviving this this match, this duel, and you saw there, we took 2, but we sent back 4. So we're giving more than what we're taking. And next turn, we're gonna be drawing more. So obviously, he wasted 2 of his resources, and it looks like he's playing a raw deck. So obviously, those cards that he played are staples on almost every deck, and they're splashed everywhere. But you get the point, because you see me go against tier 1 and tier 0 already, right? And I beat all of them. So this deck is the $65 version. All it is the AC 130, and I took a lot of expensive cards out to lower the price to 65. The extra deck is not included, but most of the extra deck is $1 cards. But since people, you might not want to play the extra deck, or you can, it's really up to the person. I do sell the deck, but back to what I was saying. He has cards to play, but he's not sure what to do. So he just sets and passes. So here we're gonna go into the illusion, and we're gonna go into some draw power, dumping the Dark Magician and going into some draw power. So that paid off. So from here, we're gonna go ahead and get the rod activated. You already know what we're gonna do, right? So at this point, he loses connection. But what's really happening here is what we're gonna end up doing is Salvation, Eternal set. So we have 2 interruptions. One is the circle, the other one is the Eternal Soul, and then we have the skill drain. So from that, what we're gonna do is we could link them both and then pop the card in the back in case if it's evenly matched or something. And that's another thing. Like, I'm always thinking of the worst cards and I stop them. That's why I win. So a lot of times when I do, people don't pay attention to what I'm doing. So I never go into battle phase unless I have an Omni negate, because you need to stop something that they play, like even a match or something. And with the Nibiru, I stay within 4 special summon or less, no more than that. And all the bait cards go first, and then the end are the ones that I want to resolve. So it's all rigged. It's all set up in my favor. Also, the floodgates are only meant for my opponent. They're not meant for me. When I don't like floodgates myself. That's why when it's my turn, I shut all the floodgates off. I only give them to my opponent because I love them. So after that, we're going to be having the what is it called? The skill drain plus the circle eternal, and that's gonna keep you going for a few turns. As you draw and do more draw power to the deck, you're gonna be able to establish more and more negates. By the time you notice, you have like 6 negates, and your opponent basically doesn't have any responses anymore. He might have hand traps, but those don't help them because there's monsters on the board already. Like, you activate the hand trap, but it doesn't do nothing. The 6,000, 8,000 hitter are on the board already. I don't know if you guys understand that. It's very simple math concept. But people don't want to win the duels. People want to play cards that they like. They want to be followers, and they also want to play what's popular, because what's popular, people like it. Like, they give you good rep, good you're welcome to the community, stuff like that. But to me, I'm not playing Yu-Gi-Oh! To have the community like me. I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh! To win the duel. and it works because I win most of my duels with a very super cheap deck, and there's no crying and complaining, only results, and you can see the proof. So that's just the overview. Really quickly, I'm gonna be doing the recap because the video is gonna end right here. But in short, what's happening is build your deck, take 2 to 3 negates per turn. I've been saying this for like 3 years. A lot of people are improving because of me. So you guys are welcome with that. And I'm being serious. A lot of people started taking that into consideration, testing. So that actually comes from the YCS nationals, like top 10 players and regionals. Everyone tests their decks before going to an event. So when they go, there's no testing. Everything that they were testing, it works already. It's kind of like going to a shooting range. You practice, and then when you go shoot, you always win. So it's the same concept. And, well, it's different concepts, but it's the same idea. So what's going on here is do 2 to 3 negates, and then see what follow-up plays you have. And you're gonna have to want to set up combos for when they play D barrier, D shifter, evenly matched, stuff like that. So that's what separates me from the rest of the Dark Magician players is I'm already prepared. All of those broken cards, like the Lightning Vortex and all of that stuff, all the cards that you can think of that are broken and they have zero effect on my decks, and they're like $65. You see people playing like even $500 decks and have these super cheap budget decks with low level cards, rogue style 100%. I can get rid of all these cards and nothing causes me trouble. I never cry or complain, just get the results. Like I was one of the first channels to beat the Flandreese and then also the Naturia. If you go on YouTube, you won't find it, especially not the national versions. And I can get those easily, and that's the reason why, because I know the cards are playing and what to do. Now, people ask me before I end the video right now, going second, I do play going second cards like Super Poly. Nibiru helps, but it's situational. People already know that. You can also play triple tactic talents and kaijus, feather, stuff like that, lightning storm, just cards to break the whole boards, the backboard and the front board, and then you can continue to go. When I go first, none of those cards in my deck because they're break. All it is draw power. And even when they play draw, it doesn't affect me because I play floodgates. So when you stop me, I just set all the floodgates. So you still have to deal to 4 to 5 negates. And that's why people can't beat the deck. So this one and the other one are 80% win rate. This one cannot beat tier 0 style because they have like 5 to 6 negates, but the AC 130 can. You've seen me do it. And that's the end of the video. Quick recap. Test your deck before going to locals. Test your deck before going to regionals and nationals, just like all the champions do. And then on top of that, go to locals and see how it goes. And you're going to see a drastic improvement. When you get Ashed, when you get Veilered, when you get D-Shifter, when you get the Barrier, D-Barrier, Nibiru, evenly matched. It doesn't matter what to play the kaijus, you'll be able to out it all. And that has to do with being prepared. So you have to stop being a follower. You have to stop going with what's popular. And you have to start changing to what wins, what gives you results. And that would explain why there's only a few rich and a lot of people struggling. So that's going to end the video. Hopefully you liked the video. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know in the comment section. Thanks for all the subscribers, the new subscribers. Thanks for all the comments. I'm going to be making a video on the new subscribers. I'm going to be doing that ever so often. When I get like 5 subscribers, I'm going to add them. And then I'll switch to every 10, stuff like that. So it's not so often. Thanks a lot for you guys' support. Thanks for coming to the channel. Team DMA, I'll be making a video to show the newcomers what we're about. It's just helping the community, giving free cards away and stuff like that. Cash prizes too. We do tournaments. There's a lot going on. And in this channel, we don't do any crying, just results, and we get rid of all the decks. It doesn't matter what it is with budget decks. With that having been said, God bless. Take care. Dark Magic Attack.